Hey everybody, Jerome Maldonado, and we're back. Video number 17. We're documenting the process of buying land, building houses. Today I took actually some notes because I want to make sure I didn't miss anything for you guys. There's a lot of moving pieces in video number 17, and here's why. So we're getting ready to close up the walls over the next couple weeks. And before we close up the walls, we want to make certain that all items on our punch list have been addressed. We're also closing up the entire house. So when we're closing up the entire house, that means roof, windows, doors, garage doors, all of it. And so we want to make sure that we're not missing any moving pieces. We're going to we will begin on the exterior facade. We will start working on the interior facade and the trim out after this process. And so a lot of moving pieces. We're going to share with you guys a little bit about what needs to be ordered right now and what needs to actually be facilitated right now. Frame stage is done. The roofers are already on the roof. We talked about roof penetrations being facilitated. We talked about the fireplace going in. And so at this stage of the game, you should have already had your electricians, your plumber, and your heating and cooling guys all scheduled to come in and do what's called the plumbing top out. That's when they pull the water lines and sewer lines. They come out of the slab and out of the foundation, up into the walls, and stub them out of the walls to be able to connect your sinks, your toilets, and all your trim out items on down the road when we're trimming out the house. Now, electrical, this is a new game for them. This is the beginning of electrical rough-in. This is where we come in and we actually wire the entire house. So it's important to think about where cable boxes need to go, DSL lines, phone lines, and all of your electrical receptacles. Now, most of that is already typically on the plans, but it's always good to check and make sure that you hit the nail on the head. A lot of times in bedrooms, I put 2 cable lines and 2 receptacles for 2 different locations if people want to move their beds around so they have options. Then we always have our family room, and then we always stub something out for the exterior, so if someone wants to mount an exterior television, they can. Now that's a little freebie, that's a little extra. Not all homes are going to have that in it. It's just something that we add as an extra amenity for a few dollars that just moves the needle and just gives people a little extra value. And so just a few moving parts. So we got our fireplace in, roof penetrations were already done, electrical rough-ins being facilitated, our plumbing top-outs being facilitated, and it's also new for the HVAC guys. So the heating and cooling guys need to come in and they need to rough in the entire heating and cooling system. So that means the entire ducting system for the heating and cooling system. You need to know where your thermostats are going, where your unit is actually going to sit, and then the distribution of all of that stuff. So that's super important right now. Now, there's 4 inspections that need to get facilitated. One is going to need to be the heating and cooling inspection. And there's actually 5 because there needs to be an inspection on the fireplace. Then there needs to be a heating and cooling inspection. Then you need a plumbing top-out inspection. Then you need an electrical rough-in inspection. And then you're going to need your frame inspection. And as part of your frame inspection, you want to make sure that all of the prior inspections are done before you call in your frame inspection. If the prior inspections with electrical, heating and cooling, plumbing, and your fireplace have not been facilitated, your frame inspection will fail. Now, in order to get your frame inspection, you want to make sure that your roof has been fully roofed and what's called dried in. So if the entire roof isn't done, and you'll notice on our roof that the metal still won't go in until later on down the road, but it's dried in, meaning that no water can penetrate the house. So if a storm comes by, the vapor barrier is on the roof and no more water can come in and enter the house, and hence, now we can get our frame inspection. And so we're moving towards the insulation inspection, which will be the next. And so those items, as far as insulation and drywall guys, you want to have those on your radar. You want to make sure you're communicating with them, and you want to make sure that you have them on your schedule to come in, start insulating the house. They'll have to seal up and caulk and hit all penetrations so that way the house is fully sealed. They'll get that inspected. Then they'll do the insulation. Then they'll get an insulation inspection. Then once the insulation inspection passes, then you'll get the drywall inspection. Now, before we get to video number 18, which will be insulation and drywall, I want to just make sure that we focus on video number 17, talking about electrical, plumbing, heating and cooling, and making sure that we also mention that this is the time with electrical that the low voltage goes in. So it's very important to start thinking about alarm systems and surround sound if you want to offer that to your clients. So we'll do a light, since we don't build build to suits and we build what's called spec homes, we want to spec it out with as much value. We want to have the specifications meet industry standards and exceed them by a margin as well, especially in today's market. Knowing that we're moving into a recessionary market, we want to have those little extras that don't cost us a lot. A few $100s here and there is what those type of items cost. Now, for our full low voltage packet, we usually pay about $2,500. That includes material and labor to put in for our alarm system, which we typically do wireless, but the main components of that alarm system, although they're wireless, still have to be hardwired in. So you have to think about that. Now, we typically put those in our master bedrooms and our walk-in closets because they're out of the way, they're out of sight, and we put them up high, and we plug in all our panels up high in the closets so you can't even see them. They're out of sight, out of mind, but the functional use of them are solid. It's a great location to be able to put them. Also, sometimes the butler's pantries or in cupboards or closets that are big enough to be able to take advantage of having them in a hidden and not in a conspicuous place. And so we like to be able to position things where aesthetically they're more pleasing to the end buyer. We do the exact same thing with electrical. Sometimes you'll have what's called sub panels, which means you have your electrical panel in the garage, but if you extend your electrical panel too far, depending on your codes, you have to put in an auxiliary sub panel. And so a lot of times we'll put those behind doors. So when someone opens a bedroom door, it covers up the sub panel. If you close the bedroom door, you can see it. And then we just flush paint that in to match the walls. So that way it looks nice and it's trimmed out attractively at the end of construction. Now, with all of those items in mind, also remember that we want to start thinking about color schemes of the house, from the downspouts of your water and some of the window frames of your doors and the window frames of your windows. Now, a couple other items to keep in mind that are key components at this stage in the game. Because theft is real, and unfortunately there are people that will go out there and enter your home, we want to start working on sealing off the house. So you want to make sure that prior to frame inspection, you have your windows orders, you have your door package ordered, and you've already talked to your garage door installer. And make sure that those items are already pre-ordered. This way you can close off the garage doors. That way you can seal off the main entrances to the house. And that way you can also have all your windows in and the full house can be contained, locked, and safe. All your items that you're bringing in, as far as trim out items in the future, you can be able to bring in there safely without knowing that they're open to the general public. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a few other items that you want to take into consideration is your interior door frames. You want to make sure that at this stage in the game, you've measured all of your door frames before the framers have moved off, and make sure that the door frames match what's actually going to be ordered and installed in the house. Because at this stage in the game, you want to make sure that you have all of your doors ordered. And with inventory being low and inflation being high and the supply chain being challenged right now, you want to make sure that your interior doors are ordered at least 8 weeks in advance. So right now is a good time to confirm that your order has been solidified and it's on its way, so that way in a few weeks from now, once we get to final trim out, your doors are installed and you can take care of making sure that you have your doors in and you're not playing the waiting game, waiting for your suppliers to bring those in. So ladies and gentlemen, we're buying land, we're building houses. This is video number 17. If you have not seen our prior videos about from stage 1 to stage 17, you're gonna wanna click below and watch them. I'm gonna put one of the videos, video number 1, at the end of this video to make sure that you get the full series of buying land and building houses. We've documented this process from the time that we bought the land. We started with surveys, architecture, and engineers, all the way to turning dirt, foundations coming out of the ground. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a fully framed house behind us, and it's actually starting to look like something. So we're excited to bring you guys this footage. We're excited for video number 18, where we start talking about insulation and drywall. And ladies and gentlemen, if you like this content, you want more just like it, click below, pound that subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you next time. You guys got to watch how I buy land and build houses. Now it's time for you to take action. If you want to get a hold of the same 14-step process that we utilize to buy land, build houses, and generate over 6 figures on every single build, you're going to want to click below. Learn from an industry professional that has been doing it for over 20 plus years. We're still doing it today. We're still taking down builds, and we're still generating over 6 figures on every single build.